Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. We're coming upon 2020. So I want to make a video about talking about the new year and the moon cycle and setting our intention and when is the best time to do so that we can have the best results for our New Year's resolution and just looking at ancient practices and so on. So I'm making two of the same videos, one for my meditation channel and one for this esoteric channel. Okay, so I've always been drawn to this type of knowledge, okay, and looking at the New Year's and people setting resolution and it not really working out well, and just studying yoga, meditation, and ancient practices, astrology, and beliefs. It's not in alignment with the moon cycle and the natural flow of the earth and the whole cosmic cycle, the planetary cycle. So it's not in that vibration, that cycle, that flow, natural flow for the body and for our planet, okay, and the universe. So let's look at this. The new moon by the cycles, and just looking at different ancient cultures and the changing of the calendar and just using it for knowledge base and to set our intention and bring it back to the cycle of the new moon. Okay, so let's get started. So the new year by moon cycle. So Janus, the Roman god. Now January is named after Janus, the Roman god. Now Julius Caesar, born in July, and his son Augustus Caesar both change the calendar. Okay, so it could get confusing because they all have like these different names, but basically Augustus changed 2 months, July and August. Okay, so changing Sextilis to August and Quintilis to July. Now all this, also doing this, it altered altering the months, 30 days or 31 days for different months. All right, now doing this is not in alignment with the moon cycle because it's just basing it on numbers, you know, the 1st to the 30th, the 1st to the 31st, or the 1st to the 29th. Okay, now February has 29 days, and except for the leap year, which is the 4th year. So for 3 years, you will have 29 days, and on the 4th year, you will have 30 days, which is changing, you know, the 365 days of the year to, on the leap year, 366 days of the year. Now, going back to January and Janus, Janus has two faces. So one is looking into the past and the other one is looking into the future. So I'll come back to that. All right. Now, Janus, from one of my research, it was said that became St. Peter with the two keys, the keys representing wisdom. So it made me kind of, kind of chuckle and thought, okay, who really has the wisdom, right? So just looking at setting our intention and for the best outcome for our lives, right? Now, going back to the Babylonians, they had established one of the first well-organized established societies, right? Now, they had a practice of the new moon, which is the first new moon after the spring equinox marked the new year. And they had an 11-day celebration from what I could find. And this happened, of course, around March and April. All right, so that's around springtime, the start of spring. And they based it, now, if we're going to look at basing it on the movement of the sun, now with December and January, where does this whole celebration come in? Now, I know about like the Saturn type of holiday that they had in Rome back then. But looking at December 21st, the sun is at its lowest point, then it will raise back up to the level of the equator. So the sun will rise, right? The sun rises back to the level of the equator and it keeps rising to the spring equinox. And that's the time of rebirth of agriculture, farming, and more food. The land is plentiful. So that's the new start of the year. right? Now, when you look into January, nothing is growing, the land is barren, it's cold, and also looking at the 1st of January, it's not in alignment with the new moon. So your intentions could be, it could fall the 1st of January, like this year. It's in Pisces yesterday, today, and tomorrow. But the most important thing is in waxing moon. So waxing moon is good. The moon is growing, so you can set an intent. However, the 1st is not aligned with the new moon cycle. So your manifestations is not going to be on point at all. Okay, now by the moon cycle, the first new moon after the spring equinox is the new year. We get that. Now this is between March 25th and April 1st. Okay, and if we are going to look at this and see when the change happened, it happened with Pope Gregory the 13th, and this happened in 1582. And this was the creation of the Gregorian calendar in the 16th century. Before that, the Europeans used the Julian calendar. All right, now for the people who didn't want to celebrate the new calendar and want to stick to the old ways, they wanted to celebrate the new year in April, or the end of March, April, whenever that new moon happened after the spring equinox. So they were referred to as fools and made fun of because they didn't want to, start using the new calendar. Now, the first new moon after spring, that's the start. It's with the cycle of the moon, and it will actually give you the results that you want. That is the start of the new year. Now, if you're recognizing the flow of this calendar, then you will recognize it through the new moon, and that's based on your local time. So your local time would be the northern hemisphere when it's springtime, the southern hemisphere when it's springtime. So that's the best way to really look at it, not just by the date set, and then your best intentions will manifest from that. Now, I also looked at the Chinese New Year because I was interested in that, because it's still happening when it's technically winter, right? So the Chinese New Year, also referred to as the Lunar New Year or the Spring Festival. Now, it's based on a lunar solar calendar, so it starts the second new moon after the winter solstice. All right, so to find it in the Gregorian calendar, which I like to refer to as a business calendar, and which everyone uses around the world, even if different cultures have their ancient calendar and still utilize that. But between January 21st and February 19th is when you can find the Chinese New Year. This year is going to happen on January 25th, but here for Pacific Standard Time, the new moon is on the 24th. Okay, so this celebration of the new moon, it starts on the new moon and it ends on the full moon. So it's about a 2-week celebration for the Chinese New Year. All right, and this practice has been going on as early as the 14th century BC. Now, what's really cool that I found out is no matter what animal it is for the new year, the rabbit and the dragon play a strong part in every new year, even if it's not their year. This year, 2020, coming up is the white rat. So what was interesting is that the Chinese believe that they are descended from dragons in their folklore, and then the goddess jumped on a moon holding a rabbit, so there's a symbol of the rabbit again at springtime. And you can find that in different culture. You'll find an egg symbolizing the start of life. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a bunny, but it could be another animal that has lays eggs. So it's just very interesting to see the connection. But the main thing I want to go back to, if you want to look at January and Janus. You can think of Janus looking to the past and then also looking to the future. So I feel like January, February, and March can be a time of reflecting on yourself throughout winter. And all these different celebrations is really from the past to keep people entertained, because that was like their social network, really. So when we want to look at the winter solstice, it's like, yes, the sun is rising again, and that's a joyous time because they know that they're getting closer to springtime. So we now in the present, if we want to use that and still want to make our New Year's resolution, sure, enjoy January, enjoy it, but use it as more reflecting to the past and seeing, okay, what can I let go of in these next couple of weeks, and how can I use these new moons from the winter solstice going into the spring equinox, celebrating that, and then the new moon after spring equinox is the start of the new year. Now that's when you'll have the energy and you'll feel like things are moving. So even if you're setting the intention January, February, and in March, the new moon after the spring equinox is when things usually pick up. So people that I've seen that just, and even for me, it's like, okay, a new intention. I just don't feel the energy for it in January and February, but I can still do things and still progress and still utilize the new moon as like a way of just like, okay, yes, let's, get pumped and so on. You can get pumped every day, but when you align them with the cycles of the universe, then that gives it more energy behind it. So just using January, February, and March to really reflect, and then to just kind of let go and just kind of clear it all out, and you have the January 1st, you have the Chinese New Year, you have all the new moons to really focus on what it is that you want to start, right? And then using the waxing moon phase to see what can I get rid of. And whenever I work with that, it really feels like the energy really pops and it works a lot better. So that's my proposal, is just to see how the new year works for you. I don't take it all seriously in that sense of not enjoying the celebrations of fireworks. It's all fun, but just being conscious and aware that, yeah, you can actually use the new moon and see how it is, because a lot of times people, they don't feel that connection to January, and that motivation. A lot of places are still cold, you don't feel motivated, and even not knowing all of this information, I would still feel like more energy at springtime to really get things moving in that direction, and I think, January, like I said, February and March is like that reflecting time and that planning time. That's how it could be used, reflecting and planning, and then allowing yourself to move forward to manifest. So I hope this video helps. There's all these other little celebrations historically that I didn't mention because it's just gonna go off topic. But the next video I'm gonna do is about how to utilize a spiritual calendar, not just your work calendar and your goals calendar necessarily, but the spiritual calendar. I will make a video on that. I didn't write anything in there yet because I'm just, very private like that. But, if you're really good at drawing, you can utilize that. But I'll make another video on that and share it before I share your January tarot videos. And definitely watch the January or the Chinese New Year videos. I thought that was interesting to see what the readings were on that. And I don't know if it's something I'll do every year, but it's something I want to try out this year just to see how it goes. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope that this video really helped you with some information, but just know that the winter solstice is very important. It's recognizing that rebirth of the sun, so you can really use that as a rebirth of self even in winter to kind of motivate you through that winter season. And January, February, and the beginning part of March is really reflecting and seeing what you've learned and how you can use it as a way of uplifting yourself and just adding more jewels to your pocket, your knowledge, and then just moving forward. Yeah, okay, I thought I stopped my recording. Okay, so, and then when it comes to the spring times, is celebrate that, enjoy that. And that new moon that happens, that's when you set your intention, because you'll already be doing all of these small plannings and using the waxing moon time to really get rid of things you don't need. And that's like reciprocity in its own way. You're giving, and then you're going to make, you're receiving, and you're using all these different new moons and cycles to cleanse, January, February, and the beginning part of March, and then spring time, you are ready. You're not just like, oh my gosh, New Year's right after Christmas, and it's just so much energy that you just don't have, you feel frazzled, it's just too much going on. So just enjoy it, celebrate it as like a winter celebration, you know, and reflecting on the past and looking hopefully to the future, but it's not aligned with the cycles of the moon, so you're not going to get the best results. I hope this helps. Um, and yeah, that's it. All in positivity, and let me know how it works if you try it out this year. So happy 2020, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.